Okay, so I'm gonna move forward here with some of our questions because we have still a lot to get through. So, how did you guys explain the loss in your way in a way that you're I feel like we kind of touched on this a little bit, um, how they understood. So you guys basically said you brought in your spouses together and you guys kind of formulated a plan and then you guys discuss it. You took a little pause, kind of went to church. You kind of just jumped right in because Greg was there, or did you take a pause as well?
Um, I didn't. I told him, and then I think, sat on it for maybe like 20 to 30 minutes while we figured out what we were going to do. We did not go to church that day. The night before was the night at the hospital,
Okay.
and Gracie got to the hospital, and I think it hit her that
The
the
realization.
Yeah.
realization of where Bella was and how Bella was hit her, and she just threw up everywhere. So that was another reason why I just kept her home. Like, the night before was a super late night.
Yeah.
We're just going to sit here. And then I remember Greg got his Bible and then like brought it, and he was looking some stuff up to try to maybe offer some verses of comfort.
So how did how did your husband's kind of not react? Because reaction, I mean, we all know the reaction is not good, but over the next course of a couple months or something like that, what was kind of their response to this situation for you and for your daughters?
Greg was amazing. I think he was just kind of whatever you need. He was the whatever you need guy.
Gotcha.
Can I go get you some ice cream? Can I go do this? What do you need? Right? And he just kind of, I think he just let us be.
Was that something that you, I mean, because it's not something that you ever plan on having to go through, but did he um, show up in a way that you didn't expect? Was that a unexpected? I mean, we all have expectations of our spouse to really do it, but sometimes spouses fall flat. So in this, it sounds like he kind of just became a person that you needed, but you, I don't know if you knew that he would was capable of that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if his response was completely surprising. Um, Greg does handle death a little better, or a lot better than I do. I'll say that. So he was very strong, but he also maybe gave us a little bit more space and grace than I had assumed that he would. Not that I never thought that he would be cool or get over
Of
it, you know,
course,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
um I also saw more emotion in him than I was expecting to
Do
see.
you think as men too, they thought I just thought about this right now. Do you think they thought of it not even just helping their daughters through it and helping their wives through it, but even from a perspective of a dad? Like, I have a daughter this exact same age. I cannot imagine how this must feel. Like, do you think that that helped them internalize how to process with their daughters because they are too fathers of daughters? So that realization of, my goodness, this could have been my daughter. Um, and do you think that helped the way they came across with the girls and even with you guys?
I think absolutely. In much the same way, I wasn't necessarily surprised by how he, took the news. I mean, he was devastated, um, and he was devastated for you both. And what I am glad of is that he was not afraid to show that to the kids.
Yeah.
Like he cried in front of them, and I think it's important for kids to see that you know their dad can cry, that men can have those feelings. And yeah, he was great. He did a lot of extra stuff too. That whole summer we fondly remember fondly as the summer of yes, because
Oh
whatever
yeah.
they wanted they got.
Right.
And Jared was happy to give them whatever they wanted because
So you guys had a
Summer of
yes
yes.
summer.
it was the summer of
A
yes.
yes.
1000%. You can't sleep. Cool. Let's stay up and watch a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what to eat? How about some ice cream?
You want to be in your pajamas all day?
Done.
Sure.
I feel like you girls were that way with me. Taco night? Yes.
Yes. Do you know
Yes.
You
how
know?
close I was just to scooping her up and taking her to Disneyland for a week?
Right.
I mean, I looked it up multiple times, like, because I would like to escape this place.
Yeah.
I would like to leave right now because I am very sad
Yeah.
and I need a big, like, shot of joy. That's what it felt like. I need that, and there is no joy here.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's why we had to get away. As you guys know, we were gone for a while because I couldn't be here. It
Yeah.
was too sad. So I understand. Definitely understand. Okay, so can I move on?
Yeah.
So did y'all struggle? Um, I think we touched on this again too. I think because our conversation's been fluid, we've kind of covered some of these things, but um you basically said you struggled with how to share the information early on. Um, but through talking with your husbands and I'm assuming too some prayer, some Lord, give me some guidance, give me some wisdom on how to say this. Um, we didn't have to do that. We didn't have to break news to people per se because people already knew. We had people talking as like a chain, right? So I didn't have to experience that. So I can imagine that have been hard to I think too, your girls knew something was up already. I mean, they had went to the hospital. They knew it was something severe. That's why Gracie got sick the night before. I mean, we had a worship service. And I think the girls at that point knew this is serious. Like, this is not just she broke her arm. She'll be home next week. This is more serious. So I think maybe they were somewhat to a degree expecting something that may have not been a good turnout. But I also think they were hoping and believing that this would not turn out the way maybe their little brains thought it would, because they saw all of us too. They saw how devastated we all were. I mean, we don't look like that if everything's going well.
Yeah.
We don't look like how we did if Bella was getting better. Kids are very perceptive. They can read us. I know Bella could read me like a book. She knew when I wasn't feeling good, when I felt sad. She knew that there was something going on. She may not have understood it, but she felt that there was something not right. So I think y'all did your best to hide what you could, but I don't feel like you did that. I mean, you can't. You can't in this situation.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to that whole burden of knowledge, right? Like we're
Right.
carrying that so that they don't have to. And then being that gatekeeper of like wanting them to be prepared for the worst outcome while still being hopeful
Mhm.
and having faith that there could be the best outcome too. Um, I think I kind of mentioned before, like we would just try to give very simple but honest answers, but we were also very careful about our language. I did not use the phrase passed away
Right.
because for a child that's very confusing.
Right.
So maybe it sounded harsh, but we used we said she died, she went to heaven. We used phrasing that would not be confusing,
Right.
that was kind of clear and direct, and I think it helped them to process it better and,
Right.
and minimize any confusion from that.
Well, we have a friend who does not like us to use that she died or she passed. She moved on. Obviously, that could be more even confusing for a child to understand that. But for us, like he would always remind us, she is not dead. She did not pass away. She has moved on. She has moved to another address.
Is
So
that kind of like what Goran used to say? She's
Yeah.
not lost. I know where she
I know
is.
exactly
Yes,
where she
we
is,
know
and
exactly where she's
Yeah.
at.
from life to life, and that's it gets into a whole another thing, especially trying to explain that to a child.
Yeah.
It's hard enough explaining some of these concepts to adults.
I mean,
So
I still use the term she passed away and I try not to.
Well, it's all knowing your audience, right?
Right.
Like it's okay. Like I'm not saying it's wrong to use that
Mhm.
language, but for our kids and for their understanding,
Right.
we just use the language that we knew would make more sense to them.
Right.
And I think that's really what it comes down to. It is just knowing, as parents, your child. Like
it's
God
not a
has
one size fits all.
no, and
It-
God has given you those children. He's made you the parent of those children on purpose and for a reason. And so you know what they need.
Right.
Uh,
Did you use the word? What was your terminology?
I now cannot remember the exact words that
What?
we
You need to
said
remember.
because I did let Greg, like, he's the one that, like,
Right.
said, and I now that I don't remember exactly, but I do think he might have said Bella died, and it's so hard to say those words out loud. I do think passed away is quote unquote gentler
Yeah.
language, right?
Mhm.
Which is why we usually say it, but there was a lot of gatekeeping. I didn't tell her Bella's injuries, and I don't even know when or if I'll tell her Bella's injuries. Maybe when she's 80. I don't know. She might be old enough to
Yeah.
I'm
hear it.
hoping we're all in heaven by the time the girls are 80, but we'll segue to that in the next question with that.
Yeah.
How did you handle repeated questions about death or fear? You said that Nora kind of started asking more questions. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden they became like versed in all things death, you know?
Philosophy and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I just gave her grace. And if there was a question that was repetitive, that told me, like, wow, that topic is really
Yeah.
heavy on her mind and
Mhm.
heart. And maybe we need to do more than just like question and answers. Like, let's dive into that a little more
Right.
deeply. But I think what I learned about kids, which is kind of funny, is they can go to 0 to 100 and then back to 0. So like
Yeah.
we'd be doing something and just out of the blue, she would ask me this really deep question and I'm like sweating and I give her some kind of answer and she's just like, oh, okay, what's for dinner?
Right.
And I'm
Like,
like,
That's
did we?
so Nora.
And like runs off and skips away or cartwheels away.
Yeah.
And I'm like left sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, gotta get my heart.
Did I
Yeah.
say the right thing?
And like, yeah, so but that's them setting the pace for their own grief and how
Right.
they want to discuss it. And you're just kind of following their lead. You're not pressuring them. You're not moving them any one direction. You're just walking with them, however that looks.
Like Jesus does with us.
Yes.
He walks with us. Sometimes he's dragging me or pulling me or carrying me. I think that's what it looks more like for Oren and I. But so how about you? Was there any like repeated questions and how did you handle her repetitive questions?
I would try to give the same answer every time,
So you were consistent.
right? Just to be
Okay.
very consistent. That was the goal. Um, the question she asks all the time is the one that we all struggle with. Why?
Mhm.
But why? Why did this happen? One thing that I would bring her back to is when Gracie and Bella went to DR and they did that beautiful production of God's God always wins the chess game,
Mm-hmm. The
right?
little chess pieces.
Yeah, we would bring it back to that. Like, God always wins the chess game. I don't know what move this is or why this is, but ultimately he always wins.
Right.
And that's what I would always come back to.
That's how you would address the why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ultimately
You
God
know,
always wins.
I think that in time, and I don't know if you all have already done this, but in time, it might be helpful. And if you've already done this, you can say so, but to let them know that Bella did win. Bella, to die is gain.
Yeah.
Paul talked about it in the Bible, to be present with, to be out of this body, to be present with the Lord, right? So she did win. She did get healed. She is more alive today than she ever was here. And I think as they get older, this may not have obviously been a conversation at 8 and 9, but as they get older, they don't have to feel like Bella lost anything or that they lost anything. In fact, Bella gained from this. And that is something that I can't really speak for you, but I think I can in this area. I struggle with because I feel like she's missing out. She's missing out. And yes, that is true as well. She is missing the time with her friends and stuff like here on earth, but she's doing so much more up there than she probably would have been doing here, And so it's not a loss. Like she won. The girls won because the devil is not going to win because they're going to see her again.
Yeah, I was at church last year one day and I was talking to Lauren
Mhm.
actually, and we ran into another lady and subject of grief and loss, all the things. How do
Mhm.
Lacey and Lauren know each other? Da, da, da.
Right.
Um, that the woman we were talking to, she said if we knew what heaven was like, if
Right.
we got a glimpse, we would never want to bring our loved ones
Absolutely.
from
Yeah.
away from that. Never. We would we would just be jealous that they got to be
Right.
there.
Yeah.
We would never want to take them away.
Right.
And that has stuck with me. And I think that's a great reminder suggestion to share that with Gracie someday. Like
Yeah.
when I think her brain's probably ready to
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
To follow up that, I do miss her here,
Right.
Absolutely.
but I know that where she is at, so much better. Like, ultimately, yes, we are all jealous and we want to be there, and we will get there. I'm always, I remember a line from Gladiator. Yeah, Gladiator. And the guy is walking across the wheat field, and he's basically, he says, I'll see you again,
Hmm.
but not today. And he's gone through battle, and he's going to have more battles in his life, and he knows he's going to see his loved one again, not today. And that's where, where we're at is, yes, I would love to ultimately be there, but she's not missing some of the stuff, and we know what's going on in the world and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't want her to have to experience any of that. So just acceptance of she's in a better place. And it sounds so
Cliche.
cliche to
Yeah.
say, and you
And
don't ever,
actually
just
don't
for the
like it.
record, don't ever say that to somebody
Right.
or that.
No.
Not
But
helpful.
we all know, after you have some time to step back from the situation, that yes, she is in a better place. We long to be there with her, and one day we will.
Yep. And the
Yeah.
girls will too.
Yeah.
Something that someone shared with me that really helped me, and I did share it with Nora, was just that when you're in a situation and you're praying for a miracle and you don't get the outcome that you prayed for, and a miracle still did occur because it's a miracle that God even sent his son to die on the cross
Right.
for us and rise again. The fact that we even can be in heaven with him
Right.
is a miracle. So it might not have been the miracle we were hoping for,
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
but it is still a miracle. A miracle did take place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
people talk about the healing,
yeah.
you know, the healing in this situation is she's in heaven. Like, it didn't happen on this side of heaven, but she is 100% whole, happy, healthy, better than ever before, and
And I
healed
think
there.
one of the things you can share with the girls too that I just thought about is instead of thinking, and they could think this, I don't know, I did, and maybe you ladies did too, but instead of thinking that Jesus didn't heal Bella, that Bella chose to stay. And that's something that the girls have to understand too, that when given the choice between heaven and here, you're going to choose Jesus. You're going to choose heaven. Even they would. Because to be in his presence is beyond what we can even imagine. We'll have someone come on that has been to heaven and has seen Jesus. And he explains it that when Jesus looks at you, it's like you're the only person on earth. Like you're the only person he's ever loved, ever. And he said it's such intense love that you want to stay with him. We were created to be with him. So it's natural for Bella to have chosen Jesus. We taught Bella to choose Jesus over friends, over even us. And maybe that could be something too you could share with the girls as they get older, is that Bella chose to stay. It wasn't that their prayers didn't get answered. It wasn't that our faith wasn't big enough or we didn't fast long enough or pray hard enough, or it was none of, because we can't twist God's arm by fasting, by declaring or whatever it is, right? That's not how this works. We too have been given a will. And I do believe, and talking to a lot of people who have gone to heaven, that you choose to stay. And so I really do believe that Bella chose to stay. And it was not that Jesus did not heal Bella, because he did, but just not here. So maybe that's something you can share with the girls so they don't ever feel like their faith, they didn't have enough faith or they didn't pray hard enough. That's why she didn't get healed. No, it has nothing to do with that. Bella had a choice. She has a will, and she chose him, as we all would. I would. Heck yeah.
Right. And I don't think she was worried, oh no, my parents.
No.
Right. And I think that speaks to how good of parents you were to her. Right.
Mm.
She didn't worry about you. Right.
No.
She didn't.
Well, because to her, it's a minute. It's kind of
Yeah.
like the song that we know, "I'll see you in a minute." To her, it's like, oh, you're here. Like, because they don't have the same time that we do. So
That's
for
a
her,
whole
that's a
nother
whole
podcast
Whole
in
nother
and
nother
of
thing.
itself.
podcast.
And we're going to move on. Thank you, babe, for getting me on track. Okay. So, some of these we have kind of gone over because that's just a fluid conversation. Would you guys say that routine in your life helped like loosen expectations? Do you think just like staying routine, trying to keep on the schedule for the girls, did that help them? Or do you feel like you kind of just backed off schedules and it was better just to be more fluid with this time?
Well, I will start first.
Mhm.
I think a huge blessing was that it was the summer
Right.
and we didn't have to get up and go to school the very next day.
Right.
I think that was such a blessing. Like always, thank you, Lord, for that like gift of the summer. I would try to stay on routine. Most like you need to go to bed at the nighttime and let's wake up in the morning time
Yeah.
and let's eat our meals and like let's do kind of normal-ish things that we would do.
Right.
But also if you can't sleep, yeah, we'll stay up and just watch TV till you're tired. Right?
Right.
If like much like I said earlier, if you don't know what to eat, let's just eat ice cream for dinner. I mean,
Did you
win or
notice
lose.
dietary changes, or obviously you have mood changes, but like how did the grief affect their well-being, health, kind of stuff like that? What do you guys see on that?
Anything?
I can't remember a lot of that specifically. I just remember being the yes mom and
Mm.
you and I talking about that a lot because the once again, thank you, Lord. Kara lives 350 feet away from me.
Yeah, keep rubbing that in.
Was measured.
And it was really good if Gracie needed Nora or Nora needed Gracie. We were both like, yeah, come over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Probably a lot more chocolate and cheese got eaten that
Yeah,
summer.
We
lots
do
of
love chocolate and cheese.
Chocolate and cheese.
Yeah.
Um, I'm with you though. We didn't try to keep like a specific schedule. I'd say it was more like a rhythm,
Mhm.
like very loose and just flexible and just a lot of grace. What did they need that day? If she needed extra sleep, I did not wake her up. I let her sleep. Um, you know, unless we like had somewhere we
Yeah.
had to be,
Yeah.
but there were very few places we had to be that summer. I cut back on summer activities and all kinds of things just to give the kids time at home because that's where they
Felt
that's their
safe.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then naturally over time, it was kind of like we knew when to stop just eating ice cream for dinner, right? Like you just kind of naturally get a feeling of okay, we're out of like the immediate
Yeah.
zone,
Yeah.
Right.
right? And like the further like we got away from it, like the more tighter and back to regular schedules we could get, but it was a little bit of your kid
Right.
in yourself.
But we've talked about this though, that grief is not linear.
Right.
It's cyclical. We know
Yeah.
that. So even though I'm sure that there was times where it felt like you were getting out of the danger zone, but you were doing good, and then all of a sudden one day it went back to the
Yeah.
danger zone. I think that we experience that daily. Year and a half later, we still do. We feel like we're doing really, really good. I may not have cried that whole weekend or whatever very much, but then I came home and it was a cry fest. So did you experience that? I know I'm kind of throwing this question out to you without you thinking about it, but do you feel like you experienced that with your girls? That you thought two steps forward and then boom, two steps back,
Oh,
two steps back.
100%.
Everyone talks about grief coming in waves, and
Yeah.
it really does just ebb and flow like that. One practical thing that we kind of came up with to help as that level of grief was kind of fluctuating is we came up with a code word
Mm.
so that if we were, like if we were at our homeschool co-op or something like that, and she was feeling kind of sad about it, she wouldn't want to come up to me and tell me exactly what was going on in front of other people. So she could just come up to me and say this one word.
Hmm.
And I knew what that meant. And, or, vice versa. If I saw her and she looked a little sad or withdrawn, I could go up to her and just say the word,
Yeah.
and she could nod or shake her head. And it was like just this mutual understanding of like, hey, this is where I'm at right now. We can talk about it later. I don't want to discuss it here, but this is what I'm feeling today. Or she would just come right up to me in the morning and be like, you know what, I'm having this kind of day.
Yeah.
But it really helped her to be able to communicate without having to say the words, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to admit that as adults and for children sometimes.
Yeah.
How did so obviously your daughters danced with Bella, but they have siblings. So how did the siblings, because they're not as close to Bella as your daughters were, how did they interact with each other in this navigating of
They know to be,
grief?
yeah, did they know to be more careful for Gracie's feelings and be careful for Nora's feel like, do you feel like they handled that well themselves?
Okay,
You
I
guys have the
will.
same kids together?
We have similar
No,
kids.
okay. So I would say my son, he is older than my daughter. So my son was more patient with my
Mm.
daughter. And if she was having a rough day or in a mood and she was letting everyone in the house know, he would kind of look at me and then I would say, "Hey, bud, I think she's having a rough day." And he'd be like, okay, like still annoyed, but
Yeah.
okay, that
But
makes
he was
it worse.
aware.
He was aware and he himself experienced sadness,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it wasn't just a random person he heard about. This
Right.
was his sister's very close friend,
Yeah.
someone who had been over at his house
Mhm.
before,
Yeah.
right? And so they were not immune to it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, my other kids weren't close to Bella, but they knew who she was. They had met her. She'd been at our house. Um, yeah, so Nora's got an older brother and a younger sister, and I think they were both just very aware. My kids are very close, and so I think they would talk about it with each other, especially at night when they're supposed to be going to sleep
Right.
and they're staying up
Yeah.
talking. Um, and I noticed a lot of my youngest. She loves playing with Nora, but sometimes Nora would want her space and just want some quiet time to herself. And so she kind of had to learn to either entertain herself or hang out with Big Brother. And that was its own kind of challenge when you
Yeah.
have those younger siblings. But I'm really proud of all of them because they really showed a lot of like compassion and just empathy for
Yeah.
Nora. And
I mean, it's good to see siblings. I have an older brother, and we didn't have to go through something like that, but I can imagine, you know, us at that age. I don't know if we'd have responded the same way or if we'd have,
Well, boys process a little
like,
different
Just
too.
beat each other up.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, we're both mad, and so we're going to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get through this
There
one
might
way or
be
another.
BB guns involved. No.
So,
sisters can be a little bit like that sometimes too.
yeah. So I was just curious as to how the siblings treated
I think they
sibling.
also watched you guys and how y'all handled it. And I think that is mirrored. I mean, that's why God placed you in their life so that they can emulate what you want them to know and what you're teaching them, and you guys are emulating Christ through what you're doing. And so I think that they see that and they say, okay, if mom and dad can be there for Nora and Gracie, then we can too. If dad can have feelings and emotions about this, then so can I.
Yeah.
If everybody cares about this situation and everybody cares about Bella, then so do we. So I think that comes from how you guys handled it even early on. And we also had them all involved. I mean, I remember them coming to the hospital. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if he did or not, but I don't know if he did. But I think your younger kids did come.
Not to the hospital, but
Okay.
we all came to the memorial
The service.
service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were involved in it. And
Yeah.
so I think when you see that, okay, this person, I may not had known her very well, like my sister, but my mom and dad care about this, and this is important.
Yeah. And that was a different experience too, because my youngest, Ruby, she was only probably, what did I say,
6 or
5
7.
maybe?
Yeah,
Four,
six.
five.
4, 5, 5.
Five or 6.
She was like
Yeah.
455
I don't know.
years old. I was
Yeah.
Somewhere in that age.
She was a baby.
She's an elf in another country.
But when we told Nora after that, we told the other two, but being the age she was, she just didn't really put it together. But when we were at the service and she saw all the pictures and the slideshow, she got really upset because I think that was the first time that it was real for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Corey bringing her one of the little Bella bears
Yeah.
so that she could have one. But yeah, that was just her processing was different just because she was younger. It really didn't feel real for her until she saw all the pictures
Gotcha.
of
Yeah.
Bella.
So that kind of goes with what we were talking about earlier about developmentally, if they're different ages, how they can process grief differently at 5 versus 9,
Yeah.
and how, I mean, we do think that the older they are, the more devastating it is. Bella had a friend who was 13 at the time, and it was devastating for her because she had went into the hospital room with Bella. She spent time with her in there during that week. And so that heaviness on her as an older child played differently than it did for a 5-year-old. So I think if a parent's going through this, you have to know like what age your child's at, and that will help you decide how much information you give, what route you take, and how to handle it, because every child is different at different age levels. So
Mhm.
yes, and so we're not going to go on to our next topic of emotional support and daily coping. And again, a lot of it I feel like might be repetitive because we have had a fluid conversation. But what we want our listeners to take away from is how did you balance giving space? We've talked about space,
Mhm.
talked about the siblings and all that, or encouraging conversation about it. Like, when did you know they need to talk about this? Like, I can tell it's building up. I, as a mom, need to somehow get them to express themselves so they don't implode. There had to have been a time where you knew that they needed to be vocal about it. It was important. You can't just stuff everything. So we'll start with you. And what do you think if there was a
Um,
time?
there were definitely times where I knew she needed to talk about it and she wasn't. And pretty early on, I think we established you feel better when you talk. So please talk and get it out.
Again, do you think your profession?
Oh, 1000%.
Because I don't know if every mom out there who's dealing, or every child that's dealing with this, has a professional counselor as a parent.
Right.
So
But, when I'm at home, I don't always wear my counselor hat. I do think that my kind of personality led me to be a counselor, and then being a counselor, like, influenced my personality, right? Chicken and
absolutely.
egg. But we just learned really early on, you have to share. And
Yeah.
so if I knew she needed to share, I'd say, hey, I really think you need to share. But if she said no, I could say, all right, well, I'm going to ask you again in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Right. And then that'll give you some time to think about it. And I would always say, I don't want to pressure you, but I can see you hurting and I don't want you to hurt.
Yeah.
I kind of put it that way. So she knew that I wasn't trying to get her to talk for my own reasons.
Right.
I wanted her to talk for her own reasons.
Yeah. Like the whole soda bottle. You shake it up, and you open it. It'll explode if you don't do it slowly and controlled.
Allow
It can.
Yeah.
conversation.
Well, 100%. If you just try to shove things in the closet all day and then close the door, eventually the door is not going to close and you're going to be buried